Hi there.
What's up, guys?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. I hope you're doing well.
We're doing good. Welcome, everybody, to a very special edition of the GARF Network. I'm Matt.
And I'm Eric.
And
I'm Charles.
And tonight we are joined by WWE referee and big-time horror aficionado Charles Robinson. Charles, welcome.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. It is good to be here. And I cannot say the fancy words that you're saying. Aficionado. Is that what it was? What is that? I don't even know what that is. I'm just a referee. I count to 3, okay?
Well, no, we were talking a little bit before you came on. This has been a big show for me to do personally. Love wrestling, love horror, and knowing you're a big horror fan. I've been wanting to talk to you because I've seen you post all the awesome stuff you collect and everything you do. And Eric, you were talking about how wrestling and horror and rock and roll, we all kind of mix together. And, you know, we want to sit here and get to know about you, about horror and how it came to be.
Well, I'm ready to do that, man. You know, I like to share what little bit of knowledge I have and answer any questions that anyone might have out there. So I'm ready to do this.
All right. Well, I mean, what was your introduction to horror? How did you get into this genre?
Well, you know, I think a lot of us when we're young kids, when the TV stations only had 2 or 3 channels and you'd flip it and Universal horror, you know, your Draculas, your Frankensteins, your Mummy, the Wolfman, and my favorite, the Creature from the Black Lagoon. That was, you know, my first taste of horror. And then as the time went on, I discovered Hammer horror with Christopher Lee as Dracula, who, in my opinion, is the best Dracula ever. And it just went on from there. I think the first George Romero film that I saw was Dawn of the Dead. You know, I think for a lot of us, I'm not quite old enough to have seen Night of the Living Dead in the movie theaters, but I had a good friend of mine from church, nonetheless. He snuck me in. He snuck me into a midnight showing, a small place in Charlotte called Eastland Mall. They ran a lot of midnight movies there, Rocky Horror, Eraserhead, and of course, Dawn of the Dead. And once I saw Dawn of the Dead, all those special effects, I was hooked. 100% hooked.
And we were talking off air a little bit, the connection between wrestling and horror. What do you think it is?
I think it's just, you know, with wrestling and horror fans and rock and roll fans, it's just a carefree attitude, you know, maybe a little bit of rebellion in there too. I think that has a lot to do with it. We're not real prissy and proper, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
And at what point did you become a collector? What was it that set you off?
Well, you know, before I started collecting, I was so hooked on special effects makeup. When I was in high school, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do special effects makeup. And for Halloween, or not even Halloween, I would come in with big gashes or my eyeball hanging out or guts hanging out or the brains. I read everything I could from Tom Savini, Famous Monsters of Filmland. They always had everything showing you how to do makeup. And that's what I wanted to do first. But I grew up in a small town in North Carolina. It's called Mooresville. We probably had 10, 12,000 people in the town, and I wanted to get out. So in 1982, I joined the Navy, and one of the places I got stationed was Connecticut. And we took a train to Manhattan all the time. And some of the biggest movie poster warehouses were located in New York. And the very first thing I bought was a Friday the 13th poster and a Halloween poster and a Dawn of the Dead poster. So those were my first 3 things I collected.
And this was in 1982, circa?
1982, 83, when I was there, yeah. So, and I just love collecting movie posters. They're hard to display, You know, you can only have so much wall space. But I have movie frames that are very easy to take apart. So every few months, I can switch everything out.
That's a level I need to get to.
That's smart.
Yeah,
I like that strategy.
and I like to do not just the American posters. I love the British, the quads posters. I love those. I have one. Actually, I have a zombie signed by George Romero on my wall. I have a American Werewolf in London. Their artwork it's different than the U.S. version. And I love it. I tried to win a Night of the Living Dead one the other day, but it went for $2,500. And
Whoa.
yeah, a little rich for my blood. Yeah.
So do you find yourself searching online and getting in bidding wars often? Is that the lifestyle?
Almost every week. I have a specific place I go to. It's called emovieposter.com. They're all originals, and they stand by their products, and they're good people. So that's who I use.
Do you still have?
Oh, go ahead, man.
I was gonna say, do you still have those original posters that you got back in the day?
I do have them.
Nice.
Yeah. The Halloween and the Friday 13th are back against the wall.
Nice.
All my George Romero posters, except for the British quad, they're in storage right now. So just switching out. I was going to switch everything out for this, but I said that's too much work. My light went away on my. There we go. Sorry about that. But yeah, Japanese movie posters are great too. They're a little bit smaller, a lot easier to display. So movie posters are fun to do.
Yeah,
I'm happy that I got into movie poster collecting, one sheet collecting in like the late 90s, early to mid 2000s. But when prices were still reasonable, I can't imagine, what they were going for in 1982. I imagine they were dirt cheap, or
yeah, they're really, really cheap.
Yeah,
I probably paid $8.
Ooh, hey,
yeah, $8 to $10 for those. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way about VHS now. I remember when I could get a VHS tape for $2 like 20 years ago, and now the same thing's like $25, and I'm like, I don't need it that bad for the cover art.
Yeah, that's why I started doing that too. Looking for the old VHSs. One of the very first VHS tapes that I got, my brother got me for my birthday. It was the Thorn video of Dawn of the Dead. And I think he paid $110 for that. Back when it came out. I had to be around 82 when that came out on video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, I got
it had that nice hard shell, clamshell, I guess you call it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the intro music, the Thornium music right now.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that's how we watched it for all those years. You only had one company putting them out, and
that's right.
That artwork, the clamshell, and the intros, they stick with you. And I always joke. I say, whenever we get a new box set of a movie, I would love the old VHS edition to be on there as well, just to take you back to that old. You can't see it, the tracking marks, and the old video intros are always my favorite because they take me right back to being a kid.
Exactly, and I still have a VCR, so I still watch VHS tapes every once in a while.
I had to go buy a Laserdisc player just to watch my George Romero movies on Laserdisc.
Those are great.
Yeah, and they're a pain in the butt to collect because they're heavy. They take up a lot of space, and that player is like 14 inches tall. It's not exactly the easiest thing to have around, but I love it. I got a Betamax of Dawn of the Dead a couple years ago. My wife got me for Christmas. I don't have a Betamax player, but I had to have Dawn on every single format.
Well, that's what we do as collectors, right? Yeah. You don't want just one. You want every way that it was distributed and released. That's the way we want it. Even
if you can't watch it, you just it has to look good on the shelf sitting right there and go, maybe one day I'll find a Betamax player and put it in and hope it doesn't eat it. But
yeah, I got a American Werewolf, an old copy from London, and the tape is broken. I can't watch it, but I still wanted it just because of the artwork of the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even have a couple of those CED discs You know, those in the plastic case that you put in. I have a couple of those, like an Escape from New York.
Wow.
I have a few of those. Again, I don't have a CED player, but Escape from New York is a great movie to have.
CED. That's the only George Romero CED.
Wow.
You got to pick that one up, Matt.
I know.
Do you have the Japanese laser disc for Dawn of the Dead?
The VHD or is that what you mean?
In the black box with the gold lettering
on
it? Yeah.
Yeah, the only one I don't have is the perfect collection.
Yeah, I don't have that one, so I'm looking for it.
It's amazing how much stuff that we get it on every new format that comes out, and then we pay 3 times as much to have it on a dead format because we have to have it. Yep. You know, even just looking at some of the discs overseas, I love to buy foreign Blu-rays, and sometimes paying $60 or $70 or pounds or whatever it is, you have to have it because it's either got one special feature or artwork that you don't have, and it's a sickness.
Yeah, well, Arrow Video, before they started selling stuff in the U.S., I would go over there on a tour, and I would bring back 30, 40 different DVDs, and at that time they didn't have the machines that would play everything. So I would have them to sit on the shelf, but now I have a multi-region Blu-ray player so I can play them.
Will is asking if we have a Dawn UHD, and I have a Dawn UHD.
Oh wow!
I do not. That's the one format I don't have. I remember when it came out in 2007, 2008. I kept putting it off, and now I'm gonna end up paying for it literally for something I'm not gonna buy a PSP for. But again, I got to put it on there with my other 85 copies of Dawn.
But what do you have now? What did you just get? Huh?
I just got. Dun dun dun.
Yes.
I'm gonna hold it tight. I'm more excited about the special features than I am about the movie itself, because I've seen it 10,000 times, but just to see all this stuff in one set, it's I can't talk enough about it.
And I think there's some new features as well, right? They're not all from other releases. So
and again, I like the special features like they have with like John Amplis and Roy Frumkes and Jim Crutt and friend of the show Tom Dubinsky. We like to joke that Tom Dubinsky's a good friend of ours and a big listener of the show and everything. And we were excited when we see him on there. So that kind of stuff is I would have bought this just as a special disc,
right?
And paid for what I did because that's the kind of stuff I love to hear.
That's awesome. Can't wait to get mine.
Oh. I got 2 more box sets coming. I got the Blu-ray and I bought another 4 case.
Wow. I have the from Shout Factory. I have They Live, the exclusive set with the figure and everything. And just ordered the My Bloody Valentine with the NECA figure too.
I saw that. Yeah. I was debating on the They Live set. I'm gonna definitely get it in 4K. I just don't think I'd be allowed to have another figure in the collection. So I think the wife is gonna dictate whether or not I get that figure at some point or not. But
well, maybe all your listeners can pool their money and get you the figure and send it to you.
Yeah, and it's a movie my wife doesn't like.
What? And you're still married? What? That's a great movie.
I didn't know that until after we got married. Now it's going to cost me too much to get.
Obviously.
But yes, every time it's on and that street fight comes on, she goes, "God, this is so stupid." I was like, "I'm going to do that to you in that alley sometime." She's like, "Yeah, whatever."
Come on, Roddy Piper.
How? I mean, you can't go wrong with a Roddy Piper movie.
No, absolutely not. So that's great.
I'm telling you.
So Charles, what happened after you see Dawn of the Dead? I'm assuming it had a pretty significant impact on you. Do you then dig deeper into George's career or just follow him?
Of course, like a lot of us, I started reading Fangoria magazine from issue number 1. Up until a couple years ago, I had all the issues until someone wanted them more than I did. But every month they would have something about George in there because he was so prominent and so important to the horror genre, especially the zombie. Zombies were looked at totally different before George did Night of the Living Dead. And then when he put it in color, in all its bloody, fake red glory, that's my only problem with Dawn of the Dead. You know, the blood's a little bit too bright for my taste. But I just fell in love with it, you know, and I wanted to know everything about George. And then Day of the Dead was coming out. You know, that was so exciting when that came out. He always gave you something to look forward to, even if you had to wait a few years. And then later on, I guess he was putting out stuff much quicker. Mm-hmm. But I watched all the stuff, you know, Season of the Witch, The Crazies. I love The Crazies. That was one of my favorite movies of his. Martin, a completely different take on vampires. Mm-hmm. So it's not just the zombie stuff that he does, and that's what most people talk about. But he did many things in this genre that we really love.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm contractually obligated to ask this question on every show. All right. What about Bruiser?
It's in my collection that I bought, but I don't think I watched it.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later. No, I'm a big Bruiser fan. I'm a very big Bruiser fan.
So I need to watch it. I just didn't pull it out. You know, I bought that 4 or 5 pack of George Romero that they had. It was in there, right? I think
it may be.
Yeah,
maybe.
So I just haven't gotten around to watching it. I travel for a living, man.
Yeah.
I think I sit around and watch movies all day. Yes.
Is there with your collecting, is there anywhere that you draw the line? Like I don't collect lobby cards or something like that. Yeah.
No, if it's something that I'm interested in, I'll get it. If it's a movie that I really like, I mean, it might even be a movie that's not that popular, and I don't look at it as an investment for most of it. Like I have a whole set of lobby cards for The Beast Within, you know, just because the lobby cards are great. And I like the movie myself, but I'm not going to make money if I wanted to sell them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I collect things that I like. The Fun House. I love the Fun House.
Oh, it's great fun.
Right? Mm-hmm. My girlfriend and I, we just watched Motel Hell the other night. It was her first time. You know, what a great movie. Got the big, I just bought the big pig head from Trick or Treat Studios. You know, if it's a movie that I liked and I enjoyed as a kid, and it always goes back to that, the nostalgia. I think as we get older, we want to live in our youth, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that's a big part of it for me. But there's nothing that, hey, I'll say, I don't want a lobby card. I don't want this. No. If something that interests me, I'm going to get it or try to get it.
Yeah, I gotta be selective with my collecting just because of real estate, and the wife goes, okay, what'd you buy today when I get another package in the mail? And then I gotta kind of, my excitement doesn't just justify the purchase. I have to tell her why this was important that I got this other item off of eBay this week. And
and that, you know, the price always affects me too. I mean, I love the Evil Dead series in Prime One Studios. They have a brand new big 1/3 scale Ash coming out, but it's $1,500. You know, it's like, right?
Yeah.
It's just hard to justify spending that kind of money, and you run out of space. I mean, one of these days I'll take you guys on a private tour of my house. I have no space in my house for anything else. And I order a lot of stuff from Sideshow Collectibles, you know, great company. But I just don't have room anymore. I need to figure out what to do with this stuff. I have stuff in boxes in the garage or in the attic.
Yeah.
Which isn't where our collection should be. It should be out for everybody to see.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten into collecting actual props? Screen use stuff.
I've tried. It's so expensive, and it's like you have to have an inside, and I don't have an inside to it. The one thing I do have, the Saska twins, the sisters, they redid Rabbit, which is David Cronenberg's movie, which I freaking love him. They gave me one of the costumes, the surgeon costumes.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
And they gave me part of the intestine, one of the arms. You know, so they've given me a couple things, and they're super sweet girls, and they're fantastic directors. we're talking about how the modern day horror isn't maybe as good. I like their stuff. American Mary. I love American Mary.
Yeah.
I think it's a great movie. Then they did the movie with Kane. You know, so they do a great job.
Yeah.
And they love practical effects.
Yeah.
Which I like. I hate CGI. You know, the
Yeah.
first time you see CGI, you go, "Oh, that was cool." But after that, it's like, now we know how it's done.
Yeah. And even with practical effects, we know how it's done. We've seen Tom do all of his stuff and Kane be effect, but they're knowing that it was something someone could touch or tear apart, or it puts you more. Yeah. You can smell the latex from your living room. You're like, I know what that smell looks like, and I know what that smell is. I love when directors come out and they love practical effects. You can see the genuineness of it, and they translate that into the film itself. And there's nothing better than watching a film and you're not expecting practical effects and they're good.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%. Hopefully we'll never lose practical effects. I understand there's a nice medium where you can have both, but I hope we never lose that art.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's been coming back the last couple of years. I mean, we see a lot of directors going back to shoot on film, which is sometimes weird in 2020 when you can shoot on an iPhone and they're shooting film. But I think the practical effect, there's always going to be the need for it somewhere. In every film, there's going to be the need. But it's nice when they can be elaborate, and when they reveal the monster, it's practical and it doesn't look like a guy in a suit. Even though there's a lot of movies we love where we know it's a guy in a suit, but we still love it. It's okay to love the bad special effects just because they put their heart and soul into it.
Yeah, the way I look at movies, I don't look at them as being good and bad. I look at them as being entertaining or not entertaining.
Yep.
Because there's lots of movies that have won the Academy Award that you can keep. I don't find them entertaining at all. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather have a good movie that's entertaining instead of just a greatly made movie, big elaborate Cecil B. DeMille type movie. For you kids, Cecil B. was a director a long time ago. Look it up, Google it.
Let's see, we had a question. What does Charles think of Night Riders?
I love Night Riders. What is there not to love? You know, you have motorcycles, you have beautiful women, you know, you have jousting, you have Tom Savini. You know, I love the movie. Ed Harris, is that his name?
Yep.
So, I mean, I think it's a great movie. I have two different versions of that poster in my collection that George signed a few years ago here in Charlotte that I really, really cherish. So I love the movie. People don't like it because it's a little bit long, but hey, you're telling a story. Why rush something and finish it up in 80 or 90 minutes when you can take your time and tell the story?
Yeah, no, we were joking with Eric and I were joking. We were in Pittsburgh over the summer and we got on the conversation about Night Riders in length because I was looking through the movie at like 4 times speed. I was looking for a location reference photo. And I said, I think Night Riders is 45% Ed Harris lying down without his shirt on. I walked away from the computer for an hour and he was still shirtless laying down. I was like, I never realized how long he's in that trailer sitting down with the bandage on. I was like, I'm going to watch this movie differently from now on.
But it was a great movie. I think George has always said that that's one of his favorites, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't he say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like his most personal film.
Right.
When you look at it as him fighting the dragon of Hollywood and all this stuff. So you can see he made that film very differently from the rest that he ever did.
Right. I'm glad he did.
Yeah, that was one I didn't discover probably until I was late teenagers. Like it wasn't available, and I ended up getting it on VHS. It was hard to find, and I saw it. I was like, "Whoa, this is different."
Even when it came out on DVD, it was kind of difficult to find.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a big production run on that one.
Yeah, and I don't think I saw it in the theaters because I don't think it had a big theatrical release, especially here in the Carolinas. So, what year was that released? Do you guys?
81 or 80, 81?
Yeah.
80. Well, filmed in 80, probably released in 81, I think.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. You know, you had seen Don in the theater, and you were hot and ready for his next movie, and didn't even get a
Didn't
chance
even get to see it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Charles, you're on your work carries you on the road all over the world. Do you use that as an opportunity to pick and enhance your collection?
Oh, absolutely. And when I go to Europe, of course, I look for the British quad movie posters all the time. I look for soundtracks. I love collecting soundtracks. Probably one of my favorite places was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Just this little hole in the wall place, and they had tons of movie posters. And I just went crazy there. Spent way too much money. Had them all shipped home because you don't want to carry them with you on a tour bus. Mm-hmm. But I run across comic book stores that have statues. Found a nice Ash from the Evil Dead sideshow statue, and bought that, and they shipped it for me, and it broke.
Cool.
Yeah, broke his arm off. So, but they gave me half price, so it was okay. I just glued it back, and it was good. But there's all kinds of places. Australia's big. New Zealand's big for movies. Japan is incredible. Their movie posters. I don't know if you're familiar with the Japanese style movie posters, but their artwork is out of this world. I mean, it is completely different than the American artwork. Mm-hmm. So, I've collected all the Friday the 13th posters, Halloween posters, and everything from there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a friend that lives in Japan, and he's written for Fangoria for the years, and and big with the Godzilla crowd, but he's been doing a lot of writing over the last 10, 12 years, doing like different books with retrospectives and stuff, and it's amazing how Japan kind of keeps that flame going. It's always been one of those hotbeds, especially for George stuff. Dawn and Day, huge over there still, and it's awesome to. I don't know what it is about those films in Japan that they keep going back to. I'm thankful that they do,
right?
Because I don't know what it is. I love it, and it just sucks that it's so hard to get that stuff over here sometimes. And you're looking online and you're like, oh, it's only 5,000 yen, which is whatever in American, but it's like $400 extra for shipping.
Shipping's the worst. Yep. I get all kinds of stuff from music. I'm a George Michael Wham fan. Mm-hmm. If you can get that.
Yeah.
And I have people send me stuff, and just to ship it, you're right. I had these action figures sent over, and it was 4 times what the cost of the figures were to have it shipped over. So I'm ready to go back to Japan, go a couple days early, stay a couple days late, and take an extra suitcase. That's the best way to do it.
I mean, the price of adding the luggage to the airplane is going to be a lot less than shipping and waiting 2 weeks to get it. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Well, when you fly as much as we do, you have a little bit of status, so they don't charge for the extra bag.
Nice.
I just hit 2 million miles with American Airlines, but that gives you an idea how much we fly.
Oh, wow.
That's with one airline. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only flown 3 times in my life. I don't think I'm ever going to rack up frequent flyer miles.
I hope you went somewhere fun.
I went. My first plane ride was to Orlando for Disney, and then I flew to the Sundance Film Festival.
Oh wow, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and I was by myself, so I was a little nervous about that. But I was like, I said to my wife, I said, I'm going cross country by myself on a plane, and 9 a.m. I was in the airport having a beer because I needed to calm down.
I was probably the guy behind you in TSA saying, "What's this guy doing? Let's go."
Yep. No, it wasn't too bad. But I'm excited to get back and do it again. Flying and whenever we can get there, because that's my wife said when I turned 40 in January. She said she's going to take me to LA so we can visit some of the Halloween locations they live. Oh, wow. So I'm excited to do that next year, just to go to LA, just to see some of those sites and and finally be out on the West Coast. I've never been. So
yeah, that'd be fun. I've been to LA seriously probably 100 times, and with work, I don't have time to go out and do all the sightseeing stuff. The other thing I always do, I go to the record store there, and that's it. That's all I have time for. But I want to do what you're going to do. Go visit all the movie sites.
Yeah. I mean, whenever you can do it, take an extra day or two and make a Google map and just plot your course. Take screenshots from the DVD or the TV or whatever. I mean, that's what Eric and I do. Like I said, when we go to Pittsburgh, we'll spend 20 minutes lining up a shot, and we refer back to our phone, and we're like, no, we're over this way. And, it's half the fun, not just being there, but, standing there and recreating what we can. Yeah. And you're down in North Carolina, so you're in a little hotbed, with the new Halloween movies.
Right. Yeah. Scream. Yep.
I know what you did last summer. I went down and did some of that this summer. That's half the fun. That's what I love about horror is they're always filmed in real locations.
Exactly. Very few are they inside a studio doing it. Yeah, I'm friends with David Arquette, and he was telling me about them rapping on it, and he's very, very excited about the new Scream movie. So it's going to be good. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I got a lot of friends that are huge Scream fans, and
I'm a big Nev Campbell fan. Is what I am.
I am too.
Hi, Nev. I think my girlfriend's watching from her house, so I need to do that. She knows I got a thing for Nev.
That's all right. We're always allowed to.
That's right.
We are allowed.
Hey, Charles, I got a couple of questions from the viewers. Let's see. Do you collect Japanese Dawn of the Dead items?
I do have the Japanese posters for Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, but that's it. I don't have any, none of the. Actually, I just lied. I remembered there was three different figures that they had. One was Savini, a couple of the different zombies, and I got George to sign those. So if they weren't in my box that was stolen, I still have those.
Was it the Land of the Dead ones?
They were Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, Dawn. Okay.
It was Tom Savini as the motorcycle guy.
The kind of melty looking guys.
The long ends, they're like super.
Yes, they look really. Yeah. I think they had Flyboy was one of them. Maybe.
They had Flyboy, Tom, Lenny Lees, and Paul Muster's Airport Zombie.
Yeah.
There was 4 of them.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, I do have those unless they got stolen. I don't know. It's in a box.
Yeah.
What's the other one? What's the other question?
Let's see.
Sorry, Jace. I hope that answered your question, Jace.
Let's see. Will, what's your prized possession? What's your favorite collectible?
My favorite overall or George Romero?
We'll go Romero.
Yeah. Probably, let's see here. I'll try to move this. Let's see here.
Ooh.
There you go.
Nice.
My Night of the Living Dead original poster. That's probably my prize. There we go. I hope nobody got motion sickness with that. But, I have I have bust and stuff back here. There's Bub, Airport Zombie. I would love to get a life-size Fluffy. That would be pretty cool. I do have a bust that Jason Baker did for me from a Fluffy, and it's from Tom Savini's original mold that he did for me and painted. So
nice.
That's prized, and it's signed by Tom and by George.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. When you get up here to Pittsburgh, we'll get our friend Dave Bury, and he has one of the crates.
Really?
Yeah.
How do people find this stuff? I mean,
it's old school. Like this was back before props and collecting was a big thing. And
right.
He's got the machete that Tom uses on Lenny from Dawn. He's got Major Cooper's brain from Day of the Dead.
Wow.
He's got E.G. Marshall's bust where all the cockroaches come out of. So
he has some really, really good stuff.
When you're up this way, we'll call Dave and get you there. And
that'd be great.
He brings them out to conventions whenever there's a convention in Pittsburgh, and he comes around. He's got a little suitcase he rolls with him, and one of the best guys around. I think you would get a kick seeing what he has.
Yeah, it's funny. You think, you look around your room, you say, man, I have a pretty good collection. And then you see other people's collection, you're like, yeah, I might need some work. You know, I don't know if you guys go through that, but I do. I have collection envy of a lot of people out there.
Yeah, sometimes I do, but I like knowing they're in good hands somewhere and they're not,
of course,
in a dump somewhere. Like I'm glad someone has them.
Yes,
like that.
I'm mostly jealous of clean collections like yours that are just perfectly, just so well displayed. Because like you said, too many people, like my room right now, it's a mess. It's if I won't even turn the camera left or right. That's how big of a mess it is right now in here.
Yeah, I have one friend. He's a huge collector, and he has a life-size creature from the Black Lagoon. He has several Planet of the Apes figures with original costumes and latex and stuff. Whoa. So yeah, right. So I would love to have stuff like that. I have maybe 7 or 8 animatronics, but they take up so much room. They just take up so much room.
Yeah, I just got a shirt from Patricia Arquette from Stigmata. My wife got me for our anniversary. It's screen matched. It's got all the blood, and she surprised me the other day and said, "Well, we'll get a frame and we'll put it upstairs." And my wife's not a horror or movie person,
right?
So for my wife to do that and say that to me, like without me asking, I was like, "Wow, this is kind of getting serious."
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm a big Stigmata fan. I like a lot of that horror that some people may not like, but there was something about like that movie and 1999 in general that just stuck with me, and it came available, and I kept like messaging her the listing like every day for a week. I was like, wow. Still available. The guy says it's available. He wants me to have it.
So, where was it? Was that on eBay or what was that on?
It was on a prop group on Facebook I was on,
really?
And I just happened to come across the listing, and I started talking to the guy, and you can verify the screen, and you were talking about like having a know into the props. It's about talking to the people and finding out where it's from and what they like, and you kind of get that vibe from someone, and there's a ton of prop groups out there, and they'll show you if it's screen matched, they'll show you where it is and how it lines up, and
it's scary that you're going to get something legitimate. That's the terror, spending a lot of money for something there's so much fake stuff out there.
Yeah.
That worries me. And just like with bust, I ordered a Wolfman bust recently from a guy back in August, and he kept putting off, that he's going to send it, and I never get. Yesterday, I got my money back from PayPal, but just people not following through on what they promise.
Yeah, that's I think that over the cost is what stops people from getting into that market, because
absolutely,
when you look at stuff like guns or swords or stuff like that can easily be recreated with any mold. And that's kind of why I with the Stigmata, I was like, who's going to boot like a Stigmata shirt?
Right.
That's why sometimes I like watching and liking those certain movies that aren't like super popular, that people aren't dying to get their hands on. So that's why I felt comfortable with looking at it and talking to him, and he gave me the backstory of where he got it. So I knew there was some history there,
right?
And he was super quick on the shipping and everything else. So it made me confident.
Well, good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
It's like people ask me on Twitter, they go, "Is this the real Charles Robinson?" It's like, why would anybody be a fake Charles Robinson? Wouldn't they want to be like a Brad Pitt or something like that? Not a Charles Robinson? I don't know.
It's like it was funny. We said Dave Buren enough times and he showed up.
Yeah, we've got to get you guys together next time you're in Pittsburgh.
That'd be great.
For sure.
I would love that.
And
as soon as we start running shows, I'll definitely going to be up there.
Yeah, he even has the trowel from Night of the Living Dead.
What?
Or he has the Jason machete from Part 4 that hits him in the side of the head.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. He has a great collection.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's got one of the Lament configuration boxes from the first Hellraiser as well.
Well, here's my problem, guys, with collecting. You get to have so much. Now I'm getting up there in age a little bit, So I worry about my daughter having to get rid of all this stuff. It's like she's going to be stuck. I've seen people go into houses and just clear it out. I don't want her to have that problem.
Yeah.
So I've really cut back a little bit on how much stuff I buy. It has to be pretty special.
Yeah, there's a couple of friends of ours, and we were talking a couple years ago that if anything were to happen to me or both of them, we're going to step in to help with the collection with the surviving spouse. So we kind of, just so it just doesn't disappear for $100. It's
exactly
to take care of it. So we kind of already came to that arrangement and said, look, if anything happens to me, call my wife. She knows you're going to come down and go through everything. So she doesn't, she can keep what she wants and get rid of, but she's not going to get swindled on trying to sell something by the first person that says, I'll give you $100 for that item worth whatever. But, so yeah.
That happens a lot, unfortunately. I mean, it's good when you're buying it for that price, but a good person wouldn't do that. I don't think so anyway. I wouldn't do that to a person.
No, I definitely I would hate to see it. So I'd be like, price, that's worth more than what you're selling. Are you sure you want to let it go for that? Because it's and I'm a buyer. Like, I don't buy stuff to resell. I don't buy stuff to say, okay, I'm going to hold on to this for a while. And that's why I'm a little more selective with what I collect, because it's so easy to go out and get this figure and that figure. For me, there's got to be some sort of attachment to it outside of a Blu-ray, for me to put on my wall, or I have a story with every piece of my collection.
Oh, that's great.
And I think that's when you can just sit and talk and be like, I remember when I got that sign, what happened that weekend, and the conversations, and that's why it means more to me than maybe what it's worth. And that's the fun part, because I have a story with each piece.
See, that's awesome. And that's great to hear. That's what I try to do too. I don't like to buy just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. Do any of you guys do like 1/6 scale figures or anything like that? Custom, not like the NECAs and things like that. Do you do anything like distinctive dummies or anything like that?
I haven't really.
I do some of the NECA, but no, none of the custom. I've seen some really impressive work. I'm not opposed to owning it. It just gets a little pricey.
Yeah, it does, absolutely.
Yeah, so, there's a couple of those collectors on eBay that they'll make the old action figure, like the G.I. Joe card stock and they'll make like the random figure and put it in there. Some of those are really, really, but they only make like 2 of them. And they're always sold out, and they're not going. And I'm like, can you make another one? They're like, no, I'm not doing that one again. I'm like, man.
Yeah, and they do. They go for a lot. Excuse me. I think distinctive dummies. They do really, really good work. I think they're out in Thailand or somewhere. And I had some Pennywise figures that were stolen. And I went to try to buy them on eBay. They were like $300-400, and I paid $85 for it. So they're very limited. I think 50, maybe 75. Is there the amount they can do that without getting in trouble?
Yeah. That's why I like posters. They're a little bit different. I like custom posters more than I like custom figures.
Oh, Mondo's great. I love Mondo posters.
Oh, I don't. Right? I was gonna say, wait, I don't own a Mondo poster because they're always sold out before I realized that they were even on sale.
Yeah. I have a Nightmare on Elm Street and a Texas Chainsaw Massacre Mondo, and they're great. I put those away. They're not even on the wall.
Yeah, it's almost like that's what you have to do with them, because you just don't want to bump into them, and it's like, oh, why do I have it? But I had to have it.
Yeah. I got the Universal Monster prints from Sideshow, all of them signed by Alex Ross. I got those, and I made copies to put those on the wall. and I put the others in a safe place so they don't get messed up.
That's a good idea, to make copies of it.
Yeah.
Keep
the other one. The difference. Yeah, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Charles, I was curious what you thought about George's later career. Bruiser. Well, no, not Bruiser, but I guess the last 3 Dead films. Did you have a chance to take those in?
I did, and they were good. I didn't think they were old school Romero, but they were enjoyable. It was Land of the Dead, and what were the other ones?
Diary and Survival.
Probably Land. I like the most out of all three of those. But they were good. They weren't my favorite Romero stuff, but it was good to see George doing something. I'd rather have something that's not my favorite from him than nothing at all. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I know he had fun doing those last couple of movies, and I know some of the movies that he'd done before weren't, because he was directing again, and he was making, he didn't always want to make a zombie movie, but he was doing it, and Survival, he had a lot more fun making that than you'd believe, because he always wanted to do a Western.
Right. And
so
he had more money to do those movies too, right?
Not as much as you think, and it was. I think each one of the last three films, I think outside of Land, I think he had like 3 weeks to shoot. Because the 3 nights that I was on set for Survival of the Dead, he was like firing setups like real quick.
Wow.
They were, he was moving fast, but he was having fun.
Yeah, he knew what he wanted. He knew what he wanted. Right?
Yeah. He just loved making movies.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's one. Here's a good question. You could spend one day in the George A. Romero archive. Which items would you wish to see? I don't know, Matt. I think you've got some ideas, Matt. Why don't you go ahead and start this one off?
Oh, there's a couple Bruiser masks in the archive that I want to get my eyes on.
I'm gonna watch that tonight. Finish this.
Another
mission accomplished.
Nice. And if it's bad, you're blocked for life.
Oh man.
I would probably do something from one of the Creep shows. I would love to have something from Creep show. That would be incredible to have.
There's another one. What is your favorite Romero film?
Wow. Favorite? Gosh. The one that affected me the most is Dawn of the Dead. So I would have to say Dawn of the Dead. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you said you saw it at midnight at a mall.
Yeah. Right beside it, and the other one was, seriously, I think it was Rocky Horror Picture Show was playing in one theater, and probably Eraserhead or something like that in the other one, or Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yeah. All the midnight movies.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Says, I wish the Romero version for Resident Evil happened without the studio ruining it. It would have been splendid. Yeah, that was something that was kicking around in the late 90s. Kind of got taken away from him and ended up becoming the Mila Jovovich property. Did
you guys read the new book, the Night of the Living Dead sequel book, or
the one that Dan Krause and
finished up? Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't read it yet, but is it good?
Yeah, it's very George.
Okay.
I can hear George in the words.
Yeah. How much of it did he write?
We had Dan on the show back in the summer. I was
thinking 60%,
70%. It was pretty much fleshed out, and Dan just kind of filled in the holes, and
he pulled from other items that he had, other zombie fiction items that were in the works as well.
Okay. It's on my shelf. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, it was a fun read.
Okay.
I like long movies. I like long books, especially with someone like George that loved the source material, that wanted to do it. So yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. It's George. I was a little concerned. I'm like, well, how much did he get done? Was it an outline? And Dan came on and told us how much had been done. So it was nice to know that it was mostly George, and Dan did a great job, I think, filling it in with his fandom, because Dan's a big fan as well.
Right.
So that helped.
Do you think that George ever felt trapped being in the zombie genre and would like to have done other things?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Definitely towards the end.
Right.
Yeah,
which was sad because with the digital film era, you only needed a couple of $1 million to get
Right.
something off the ground, and
Yeah.
he could still only scrape up the money for a zombie project.
Yeah. What do you think he would have liked to have shot? Did you hear any rumors of what he would have liked to have done?
I know one time he told me he wanted to do like I don't know if it's a romantic comedy or comedy, but he wanted to do something completely different. And
Wow.
and we've talked to George's widow Suze a lot, and she said he was always writing. So he would just write, and he had stacks of stories and scripts that he had
Wow.
done. We never really asked her if she's gone through it or talked about what he was writing, with all the times we've talked to her.
There was that the one project. It was Diamond Dead. It was some kind of like gothic rock and roll kind of
Almost
like
a musical.
Almost like a Rocky Horror kind
Rocky
of
Horror
thing.
type deal.
Yeah.
And I believe he finished the script, and there was some talks for a while, but never quite happened. This was right after Land of the Dead, I want to say.
Yeah, late 2006, 2007, that was making its rounds. I think even did a script get online, or
Yeah.
I think I might have a copy of that floating around somewhere.
See, that'd be cool. I mean, there's so many projects from all directors and all writers that are just sitting in a drawer or sitting on a shelf somewhere that we would love to see that we'll never see.
It's the proverbial, I'll give you $1 million, make what you want.
Right.
And they don't need $1 million, but it gives them enough freedom to get the shots that they want, to get the whole thing without really compromising the story by cutting out, a subplot or a scene that they really want. And George did a lot with little. And I think that
absolutely. Yes.
That was always his best work, was when he didn't have a lot of time or money and he got it done, especially the early stuff. When you talk like Martin, the Crazies, all that's, the stuff that we love. Day of the Dead was a third of the original script budget. And
right.
You had to pare that down and change everything. And, like stuff like that. And that's what we love about George. Eric and I've talked about a lot. It's the quality of his films and not the quantity. I would love twice as many George Romero movies, but would they all be ones you want to go back to
over and over?
Yeah. And I don't know. There's a lot of George films that I watch a lot less than the others, and a lot more, but I always enjoy every one of his films because he always puts so much of himself in them.
Right. Like you're talking about watching them over and over. One that I watch or listen to all the time when I go to bed is Night of the Living Dead, because just by listening to the dialogue, you're seeing the movie in your head and you know exactly what's happening. And that's what I love about Night of the Living Dead. I mean, it brings you in to do it.
Yeah, I can do that with Dawn. I mean, it's my absolute favorite film. And, I used to put it on in college as background noise when I would study in my dorm, just because I needed something. But if it was music, I'd be tapping my foot and singing. With Dawn, I would just block it out. I know it's there, and it would keep me focused. And I do that all the time. I mean, I'm a big enough fan. I've ripped all the audio commentaries from his movies to listen in the car, digital copies just to put on my phone in case I get bored. I'm like, I'll watch Dawn for the 10,000th time, and you can go back to them. It's like comfort food. Yeah.
What's your favorite version of Dawn? Because there's so many.
Official cuts. It's the extended cut.
Yeah, me too. I like the extended.
To me,
that's a good one. Anything that's a little bit longer, I loved. So that's where we stand on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen any of the composite, the 156-minute cuts that combine the versions? Have you seen any of those?
No. Yeah. I don't think I have. Yeah.
It's in fact
it's a lot. That's a lot.
It is a lot. It's more enjoyable than you'd think, though.
Really?
Including all the little bits in there.
Yeah, my attention is really, really, really bad. So it's easy for me to go off into La La Land. So even with something that's good, but that's 2.5 hours is long.
Yeah.
With Dawn, it goes by quick because you're just I'm super into it, and before I know it's done.
All right. Well, maybe after Bruiser.
There you go.
I'll watch that.
Love it.
Let's see. Would you ever consider writing or directing a horror movie?
Not writing. I'm not a good writer. it'd be fun to try to direct. I'd rather just have a small part in one, though. You know, I don't think I have the knowledge to write or direct. I know what I love, but just the imagination of directors and writers to come up with this stuff, that's what amazes me. It's like, why are they doing this? Why did they think of doing this? You know, so just give me a small part. Jen, Sylvia, Saska, give me a small part. One of your movies.
I think
grab a couple props. Grab a couple props on the way out.
Exactly.
Charles, what's in that big bag? Nothing. It's my luggage.
It's my luggage, yeah. But you didn't come here with luggage.
Somebody's asking, did we ever see the edited TV version for Dawn? I don't think I've ever seen.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it'd be nice if someone has it on VHS somewhere that they could make digitally, because I'd like to know what that was like to have on TV.
Yeah, I've never seen it on TV.
I can't imagine.
No.
I don't think it's been on even the pay movie channel since the 90s.
I do recall they had a pretty funny version of Day of the Dead that came on the Sci-Fi Channel where they edited out the curse words.
Yeah,
that was good stuff.
Hey, what did you guys think of Tom Savini's remake
of Night?
Of Night?
Yeah,
it's solid. It's a solid movie. We've been talking. It's for some reason it's you know, like it or not, or you know, whether people are enjoying it or not. It's been discussed more lately. It's been people have been talking about that movie a lot lately.
I don't think he could do exactly what he wanted to do, but I thought it was a solid movie. I think the performances in it were great. So I enjoyed it as well. I was just curious what your take on it was.
Yeah, I enjoyed just as much as the original. There's times where I want to watch and I can like, which one do I want to watch?
Yeah,
you know, they give off different vibes, but to me they're just as enjoyable. 68 versus 90, I can go either way on it. It's hard for me to pick which one I like more. So yeah, and like Eric said, there's been a lot. Maybe it's because the film turned 30 this year, and people are finally going back and saying, "Oh yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, and I really like it." There's that it just got churned up again a lot, you know, this year.
Right.
Yeah,
that one needs a nice special edition.
It would. Yeah, that would be good. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hate that some of George's films, though, they get cheap remakes of, especially The Day of the Dead. You know, it's like, what is this garbage? I just don't want his name associated with something that.
Yeah. Even the Dawn remake, I feel that way about.
Yeah.
Or Creepshow 3, I think. You know, another one.
But the Crazies remake.
That was good.
I thought was good. I don't think that one gets as much love as I think maybe it should, because I think it's solid. It is, you know, Timothy Olyphant, I don't think can play a bad law enforcement officer in any movie he's in.
Right.
And then you put him in a horror one, and I'm like, all right, I'm sold.
Right. Now, fast moving zombies versus the slow moving zombies.
Fast zombies suck.
Yeah, right.
I'm a fan of Return of the Living Dead, so I like those.
Oh yeah.
If those are considered fast zombies, I can deal with those. There's not a whole lot of films with fast zombies, really, is there?
World War Z.
Yeah, not any good ones anyway.
Well, I like World War Z has grown on me. I originally discounted it because it's Brad Pitt. And when you watch a movie with Brad Pitt, you're watching Brad Pitt more than
he's
the movie.
body double. He's my body double. Don't talk about Brad Pitt.
No, I like Brad Pitt. But when you mix him with zombies, you know, I think Train to Busan was fast zombies.
It was, and I like that movie.
That's have you seen The Dead?
No.
That's a good one.
Is that good?
It's creepy. It's got a vibe to it that it's a slower paced movie.
Okay.
And it takes place in the desert of Africa, but the zombies make me think more of Fulci type zombies, just with the way they look and move. But I enjoy The Dead a lot.
Okay. What is that on? Is it on Shudder, Netflix? Where can you watch it?
It could be on Shudder, might be on Prime.
Okay.
I think you can get the DVD still relatively cheap. So even if you can find it, I'm sure Amazon has it for probably like $10, at least the last time I looked.
Okay.
But yeah, that's one that I like to refer people to in terms of like the last 10 years of zombies. That's one of my go-tos.
Now, when was that made?
2012, 2013. So not super long ago.
Okay.
Let's see. What are a few collectibles that you wish you could have found, or maybe something that you just missed out on?
Well, the Night of the Living Dead British quad poster I missed out on for $2,500. That's one. The one that I would like to replace is from Entertainment Earth, the Cemetery Zombie bust. Mine got taken, and I'd like to find one of those, but you can't find those anywhere. I mean, nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I found somebody that had one, and he wouldn't let go of it because I think it was limited to 50 or 75 units. So,
I think that's the one we were talking about a while ago. You were looking for, and we were trying to find one.
Yeah. So I have a fake one that somebody made for me, but it's not the same. I know it's fake.
Let's see. So what's your favorite creep show segment?
Gosh. Yeah, I like the crate. That's probably my favorite. I mean, Avery and Barbeau. Come on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably my favorite. Least favorite, since we're talking about favorite, I don't know. I like them all. I heard somebody say they didn't like the one with P.G. Marshall, the bugs. What was the name of
They're
that
creeping up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was just different because the cast was so limited, the number of people in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was entertaining. I thought the first Creep Show was great from start to finish.
Yeah, and that's what people just celebrate all the time, and I've never gotten tired of them.
Yeah,
celebrating Creep Show.
Yeah, and something to tide you over. Leslie Nielsen in a serious role. It's great, right?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, I just got to watch that on 35 millimeter at the drive-in over Halloween.
Oh wow!
And it's pristine as Blu-ray and 4K is. It was a really good print, and because I was watching it on the big screen, I'm like, oh, I've never noticed those details before, and I've seen the movie hundreds of times, but seeing a film on 35 millimeter just takes you
pops,
to another place. Yeah,
it really pops.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about stuff like Shaun of the Dead, horror comedy? What do you like some of that?
Yeah,
stuff?
I love Shaun of the Dead. That's a great movie. It's okay to have. I mean, look at American Werewolf in London. It was comedy and horror. And that's one of my favorite movies. Shaun of the Dead. It's great.
Yeah,
love it.
And American Werewolf still has the best werewolf transformation ever.
Yeah, and it's funny that Rick Baker was supposed to be doing The Howling, and he left The Howling to go do American Werewolf. So thank goodness, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though The Howling wasn't bad, I like it.
Yeah.
I love Dee Wallace. We're talking about going to conventions. She's probably one of my favorite people I've ever met. She is so sweet and so nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So you brought it up. You're like us. You go to horror conventions. What do you love? Who've you met that you've always wanted to? And
gosh, I met John Carpenter. We did a private signing with him here in Charlotte, which was fantastic. Got to spend about an hour with him. We did a private signing with George. Spent about an hour with him. Chris Sarandon from Fright Night was great. Linda Blair, she's Linda Blair, so that was pretty cool. But Dee Wallace was one of my favorite. Probably the nicest guy that would spend time with you was Angus Stream, the tall man. You would sit at his table, he'd talk to you for 20, 30 minutes. Robert England does the same thing, but he has 300 people in line waiting. So, it's great he spends time, but it's like, come on, let's move it. But I love conventions. Sometimes I like just meeting the fans more than I do the celebrities. Walking around, talking to them, see what they like, see what they don't like, see where they came from to be there.
Do people spot you in the crowd at those, and are they surprised to see you there?
They are. And, I carry 8x10s every time I go there because people are spending so much money getting autographs nowadays, which I hate. I will never, ever charge anybody for an autograph. And they'll say, hey, can I take a picture? I say, here, let me just give you a signed photo. And they're so happy, So I think you have to give back to what you love,
Yeah, and it just endears people to you even more.
Yeah, and for people just to even take the time to come up and say hello to me, it's very, very humbling that people would do that. Now, I couldn't imagine being somebody like, The Rock or somebody like that where
24/7.
Yeah, but, once every few days or for 5 minutes a day, it's okay.
It means more.
Yes.
Have you ever sat on the other side of the table at one of these conventions and been a guest signing autographs?
No, I never have. I've had a couple of people ask me to do it, but I don't want to charge people for an autograph. I just don't. Maybe I'll get a table and sell stuff, sell some old memorabilia, but I don't want to charge for a photo or to say hi to somebody. It's not what I do. Even though I do love going. I want to go to Spooky Empire. I've been there before down in Orlando. Really want to go to Texas Frightmare.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that was going to be big this past year because Nev Campbell and David Arquette, everybody from Scream was going to be there. And then, that was a bummer.
You have to get up here to Monster Mania. It's just outside of Philly.
Wow.
Dave gets a lot. He had Nev. He had a whole craft reunion last year. So Dave gets a lot of good people. He's had David Arquette there and all that.
Nice.
So that's a good show if you ever get up to the Northeast here in usually March and August and October. He runs some great shows.
You're asking who the biggest person, the one person I met that probably was my biggest influence was Tim Curry. When I met Tim Curry, that was, to me, he's Pennywise.
Yeah.
He is so creepy.
Yeah.
To me, he's the best Pennywise. So nothing against the other guy, but I love Tim Curry.
Yeah. There's a meme. It's like you can tell a lot by a person where they know Tim Curry from. It's like Rocky Horror or Clue. They're like, I can't decide which one I love more.
Yeah, I've seen Rocky Horror maybe 400 times. So
have you gone to a shadow cast?
Oh yeah, I used to back in 79 to 82 every week. I played Dr. Scott and Eddie. I had 2 roles.
Awesome. That's
Love
great.
it. Love Rocky Horror. That's another one my wife doesn't like.
Yeah, and what a great soundtrack. Like, really?
Oh, that one could be on repeat all the time and I'll never get tired of it.
Right. That's why I like horror soundtracks in general. I mean, I have all kinds of stuff. I had Night of the Living Dead soundtrack, Evil Dead. I mean, all these soundtracks are just so good. And the scores are phenomenal.
Yeah.
You think they'd be, seriously, some big 20th Century Fox, Star Wars or something like that. But they're just beautiful, beautiful scores.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th. How iconic is that?
Yep. Yeah, I see the Waxwork shirts. So are you one of the yearly subscribers? You like to pick up their stuff?
I do. Kevin's great down there. He's a good guy. I got to meet him. We did a show in New Orleans, and their shop is maybe 15, 20 minutes from the arena. And I went by, and he was super nice.
Nice.
So even if I'm not excited about the subscription of what's coming in it, I support him because there's going to be something really good and really cool in there.
Yeah.
And they have the new Spenditures. Have you seen those?
I just saw they did a Michael one from Halloween 2. I was debating on that one.
Yeah, go for it.
When that shows up, I'm like, Charles told me to buy this.
They're only $24 and they're small.
Oh, and she'll go, oh, only 24. Why didn't you get 2? And I'm like, well, he only told me to buy 1.
Yes, believe me.
Yeah, I just had to pick up the Friday 13th Part 8 vinyl that came out because I have all of them, and I'm loving that little series that they're doing, and I get probably 2 or 3 a year from them. Yeah, and they're worth it.
Absolutely.
I don't love hunting for vinyl, but it's always nice when you go out and you find something and you're like, oh, that's the right price, and I gotta have it. And it's just that old tech thing, like we kind of keep going back to it. I love to collect horror soundtracks on vinyl. It's the only reason I'm into vinyl.
Right. I have a hard time now going to record stores and just looking through. I get so overwhelmed with what I'm looking for. I have to be focused on saying, okay, I want this album, and I'll go look for that album for a few minutes. If they're not in order, if they're not in very good plus to mint condition, I don't even want to look at them.
Yeah. I found a Jaws original pressing at like a thrift store, right. And the case was in bad shape, and I'm like, it's $1, and it's the original Jaws soundtrack. I was like, I can live with that, and I had to bring it home, and I'm like, did
it play?
It played pretty good.
Yeah,
it played pretty good. Yeah, if it's like under $10, I'll go back and find a better condition one. Depends on how much I put that initial investment in, but I that's a kind of collecting. I kind of keep at arm's length because I know that's a black hole that if I get into, I'm going to have to sacrifice collecting something else.
Right,
and it's a balancing act.
Yeah. Well, there's a good website called discogs.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find stuff in good shape, and the prices are pretty fair, especially if you look around.
I use their app to track my collection.
Yeah,
it's just so I don't buy any duplicates.
I did the same thing. Yeah,
it's super handy when you're at a pawn shop flipping or a flea market flipping through some vinyl. And
right.
Do I have that already?
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that point yet because most of my stuff is waxworks, and I can kind of keep track in my head. But I know I'm gonna end up at that point because I have not found that one shop close to me that always has the good stuff that I'm looking for.
Yeah,
I know
horror stuff is hard to find. Horror soundtracks are almost impossible to find nowadays.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's your favorite horror soundtrack that you guys may have?
As far as like the actual content of the soundtrack or just the collectability of it?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a bunch of the old the DeWolf LPs when we were trying to collect compile the Dawn of the Dead score.
Right.
And actually came up upon, in collecting those LPs, came up upon a bunch of other music from like kung fu movies and all sorts of oddball stuff. So yeah, those are pretty cool.
Yeah,
those are pretty get a little pricey. Some of those DeWolf LPs.
Yeah, I have an original pressing of the Dawn soundtrack.
Right.
The first vinyl that I ever bought was the Goblin soundtrack of Dawn. I got it at a convention, and the cover, it's just a big wraparound cover of the zombies on the ice skating rink. I had never seen it before, and I haven't seen it since. But that was the first one that I bought.
Oh wow!
I think it's an Italian one.
It is. It's an Italian one, yeah. And I got to see Goblin on their U.S. tour a couple of years ago, and it was just neat to hear them play Dawn of the Dead.
How was that? Was it good?
I was right up front. I was just like wide-eyed, like it was like seeing Kiss or one of those big. Like, I'm like, it's Goblin. It's in a bar, and it was like the best concert. Because you're like,
we were in Germany, and there was an advertisement that they were going to be there, but it was the day after we left. So I was so bummed out.
Yes. I bet you run into that a lot. Bon Jovi's coming tomorrow.
Yeah. But I did take the poster off the wall, so I have that.
No, I got to see the Misfits play. George and Bruiser, they were my introduction to the Misfits, so I got to see them play, and then I saw Claudio Simonetti's Goblin when he was doing the Suspiria soundtrack to the movie.
Right.
They play the movie and then chump in with the that was really cool. Like that. And then they played a whole 90-minute set after Suspiria. So it was like a 4-hour concert.
That would be
and
fantastic.
It was just awesome. And Claudio plays on this like curved keyboard. It's the weirdest looking thing, but it's so cool. And I know, Eric, you went to see them when they did Dawn, right?
No, they did Suspiria. They also did Suspiria. Yeah.
Wow.
And then they did like maybe an hour and a half set afterwards. Yeah, something.
I mean,
so it was like 3.5 hours basically.
Yeah, total value for what you pay for it. You got 2 concerts and a movie.
Well worth it.
Yeah.
I wonder. I'm friends with Jerry Only of the Misfits, and I've always wondered. I go, how in the world do you guys get away with using Night of the Living Dead and all this? Does George know you're using his titles for
George loved it.
Yeah, I bet he did.
He directed their video for Scream, and that's how he got them in Bruiser.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was like a trade. They wanted him.
So they're in Bruiser.
Yes.
So another reason to watch.
There you go.
Another reason to watch.
Yeah, they would always come to this club close to me, and every time I always wanted them to play the 2 songs they did for Bruiser, and they never did. And friends of ours, Bob and Sandy, they know Jerry as well, and they were at a concert in Chicago, and at like 12:30 at night, I get this text of this video, and it's one of the songs from Bruiser that they're playing. They sent me the whole video because it's like the one song I've always wanted to hear them live, and I'm like, this is the best thing ever.
Wow.
Matt, that's actually a pretty good question for Jim Cirinella. We'll have to ask him. Did they actually clear the rights for their song "Night of the Living Dead" back in the day? I don't know.
Back in the day, probably not.
I'm thinking probably not, but maybe they're grandfathered in because of Bruiser.
Maybe.
Well, it's Night of the Living Dead. He didn't have any rights anyway, right? He lost all those copyrights.
Yeah. That's a whole complicated.
That's true. Yeah. I forgot all about that. So, have you guys seen any of Glenn's movies? Danzig, his horror movies he's done?
I have not.
I haven't either.
I haven't. No, I wasn't even aware that he had movies.
Yeah, he did any.
He directed a new horror movie that just came out not too long ago.
No kidding.
So I haven't seen it. So
I didn't know he was a director first off. So that
me either.
Interesting to go see.
I don't think I'm wrong. I could be, but I think that he directed a horror movie. So it'd be interesting.
Yeah,
he's very, very creative. So
yeah, I did. You get a chance to see the original Misfits in concert by chance?
I did. I went and shot. One of my hobbies is photography. And I went to Denver for Riot Fest. Jerry invited me out to do photos for them there, and then they liked it. So I went to Chicago, and then I went to LA, and then I was done. But yeah, I saw them 3 times.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good show. They go, for the last show, they said, you have 3 songs that you can take pictures. I said, okay. Well, we know that their songs only last about 80 seconds. So after about 4 minutes, I was down there saying, did you get some pictures? I said, no. Go back in there, get some more. So that's the typical thing when you're shooting concerts is 3 songs. That way you're out of the way. So
okay,
but their songs are so fast.
I
mean, seriously, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, done.
Yeah. Oh man, that's all. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see them. I wanted to. They were coming. They were like in New York or New Jersey, and I think tickets sold in about 7 seconds. And I was like, damn.
Yeah. Well, next time, let me know.
I will. If we can do concerts again in the future, we
it may be a while, but we'll do them.
Yeah,
I'm excited to be around people.
Yeah, that was a big thing missing the conventions and stuff this year because, Eric's Tallahassee, I'm in PA, and that was always a big thing. And we got to see each other this year. We did our own, one-off weekend, and that was fun. But, man, I definitely miss going to the shows and being excited to be around. I don't want to say people like us, but like-minded people that just want to be there for the movies. And, it's always fun. It's like, okay, what's good? What have you seen? And it's always, there's always one friend that's found a movie that they love, and then you go home and you love it too. And it starts that ball rolling again. You just get it's a fun time, and I miss it.
And I love going through all the vendor tables,
Yes.
Especially the guys that do their original artwork. Some of these guys are so good.
I know.
I can barely draw a stick man. So when I see what these guys do, it's just so amazing. and I try to support them too,
Yeah.
Buy a print here or there.
Yeah, that's I like when I go to conventions, I go to the Blu-ray dealers and the poster dealers. And
right.
I run out of shelf space and wall space very quick. I'm out of t-shirt space. So if I come home with a t-shirt, I'm automatically in trouble. But I try to find a new poster print of something. And
right.
that to me is fun with seeing what people can do, because I think I love that part of the artistic side of the vendor's room, is like seeing these posters that people can come up with. And I'm like, man, I wish I was the original artwork.
Right. And some of these tattoos that people get are phenomenal. I don't have tattoos myself, but if I did, I would love to have like some universal creature from the Black Lagoon or a Dawn of the Dead zombie or something to show off. You guys have any tattoos?
Yep,
that's got a few.
Yeah. I got a Blair Witch Project half sleeve. I have Flyboy on my ribs. I bought that for my 30th birthday.
Oh wow!
And I got a Dawn of the Dead, Land of the Dead tattoo on my back. Plus, I got a Thorn tattoo because I love Halloween. So
that's cool. Speaking of Blair Witch, isn't that amazing how that movie was promoted strictly word of mouth, and people believed it?
Yeah.
For so long.
Yeah, I mean that was such a fun summer discovering that movie.
Yes.
And I never thought it was real, but I just thought how cool it was that everyone was talking about it, and you didn't really know much about it. They didn't show you much, and then you saw it in the theater, and it deeply affected me.
Right.
And
it seems like whether you bought into it or not, you still wanted to see the movie to see what it was all about.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Same with Paranormal Activity.
Mm-hmm.
Same way that people were.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think of found footage?
I'd like it just a little bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to watch a lot of it. It gets very monotonous and old to me.
Yeah.
What was the one that they just did with the computers?
Host.
Yes. I liked Host though.
Yeah. We had the cast and crew on right after the movie came out. That was
that was good.
That was fun. Like
it was during the freaking being isolated. It was it was very, very contemporary and very modern. So
it came out of nowhere. And they were like, here's a movie they shot on Zoom in quarantine. I'm like, okay, I'm sold. And then it's like, it's an hour long, and you're like, hey, they got in and got out, and they did it right.
Yep, they did it.
Yeah.
It's a good one for Charles. What are some obscure titles that you would recommend?
Oh gosh. I don't know. You guys have any ideas? I cannot think of any obscure titles. I'm serious. I just can't think of any.
I just talked about this. I was on a podcast. Have you seen or heard of Pontypool?
I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
That's an obscure one I like to recommend.
Yeah. One that was obscure when it first came out, excuse me, was Ginger Snaps. And I love Ginger Snaps. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, everybody's heard of Ginger Snaps now, but when it came out, people it was from nowhere,
Yeah.
So something like that I like.
Yeah. Yeah, that was going to be a question I was going to ask earlier. I'm like, okay, what's the one movie that no one knows about but you love?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything like that. That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's half the fun of going through places like Shudder and stuff. You're like, oh, I want to watch that. I've never heard of this. And you're like, this was like 12 years ago. And
right. But sometimes it's like when you were in the video stores as a kid, you based everything off the artwork on the box. Yeah. I do the same thing with Shudder. I'm flipping through and say, that artwork sucks. I don't want to see that. And it's probably a great movie. So I'm most likely missing out on some really, really good stuff just based off the artwork.
Yeah. I mean, I remember that as a kid going to the drugstore and they had the 2 rows and I would always go to the horror section. And I'd be like, I remember this movie and this movie. And I just said to my wife the other night, I was like, oh, Extra was on somewhere. And I was like, God, I haven't seen Extra in 30 years. And she's like, what's it about? I was like, it is too weird to try to describe to you. You're just going to have to watch it. And that's how I sucker her in. I was like, I can't describe it. You just have to sit and watch it.
Yeah, they had they released a deluxe version on DVD with the figure and everything that I was trying to get. Impossible.
Yeah.
It's only released in the UK, and I couldn't get one.
Yeah, there was a German release of Extra on Blu-ray that I keep meaning to get when I go to a convention. Diabolic DVD always has it. And by the time I get back to it, it's already sold out. And I'm like, this is like the third year in a row that it's happened. And I'm like, why don't I just buy this online? There's something about picking it up off the table and coming home with it. It's more satisfying.
Well, just buy it online. Take it with you to the convention, put it on the table and pick it up. You'll be set.
Excuse me, I'm going to lay this right here. I'm going to pretend that I'm buying it and walk away with it. There you go. That's a good idea. Do you you have Shudder? Have you been enjoying the Joe Bob resurgence?
I love Joe. He's great. He's great. You know, he always breaks the tension. I guess you could say he's just. I don't think my girlfriend had ever seen much of him, so for her to see it, you know, she finds him entertaining too.
Yeah, I had to explain Joe Bob to my wife.
Yeah. Shudder's the best. I mean, there's all kinds of streaming services for horror movies, but I personally like Shudder the best.
That's a great service.
I just did Arrow. I just signed up for theirs. They have one.
I always forget about that.
Still not sure about it, whether they have enough titles to be worth it. But I mean, it's Arrow Video. What's the other one I have? Gosh, what's the one with Charles Band?
Full Moon.
Yeah, and I streamed that as well. So
interesting. I didn't know Arrow had an app. I'll have to check that one out.
They do.
I know. I forgot about it until you mentioned it. So I'll have to look back into that, because signing up for another streaming service, that's another hard sell.
It is. You know, they're only $5-6, but you start adding a bunch of them on there, and now it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, but I do like it because it gets me in front of movies that I might not want to buy, but I definitely want to watch.
Right.
Like, you know, like I don't want to plunk down $30 for this movie, but I can spend $5 a month and watch 30 titles that I'll probably never buy, but now I've seen.
Exactly.
And that's a good supplement to being a physical media collector, is you can go back and pull your favorites off the shelf. But if like, I don't know what I want to watch, you go to some place like Arrow and be like, oh yeah, I've never wanted to buy it, but here it is. Am I going to enjoy it? Then you might end up going to buy it anyway.
Yes.
Shudder's done that to me a few times.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel the same way about Shudder. All sorts of titles on there. It's just like, may as well.
Yeah. I just wish they had more extra features that they would stream.
Yeah.
On those, you know?
That's a big one. I always use the digital code, because if I'm out, I have it on my phone and I can watch a movie. And there's some titles where they will put the special features on the streaming app, and I get excited about that. There's a few. I think you can listen to the commentary, and they have the behind the scenes stuff, but it's few and far between. It's not as. I wish there was more of it, considering I paid $30 for the movie. Give me all the special features, so I can sit down and watch it. You know, in the hotel or whatever. But
I agree.
You know,
I agree. Have you guys seen the David Cronenberg's son, Brendan? What, Possessor or something like that? Have you seen that yet?
No, I've heard about that recently.
Me too. I haven't seen it either.
I don't know if I knew that was his son.
I think it's his son. Yeah, I think it's. Unless I'm getting titles mixed up, I would Google, but I'm on my phone here.
Charles, have you seen the Creepshow television series?
I did. I liked it. I liked the TV series. Yeah, I thought they did a great job with it. I think Nicotero did that, right?
Yeah,
he was part of that. Yeah.
Man, are they still filming season 2? Because we just had John Harrison on a couple of weeks ago, and I know he was down filming. So I guess they still are. I haven't heard any updates that they've wrapped filming season 2. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and we talked about the animated series earlier.
That's
right. What we thought of that. So
yeah,
Kiefer Sutherland, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's got that good voiceover.
He's
voice.
great.
Like he was made for that.
Yeah.
But I like, you know, when you look and you're like, there's a Creepshow TV series in 2020, and we grew up on Creepshow, and they were such obscure titles back in the 80s and 90s, like the public never heard of it. It's
right.
So cool to try to see all this stuff now in the mainstream, and you're like, yeah, I remember Creepshow 25 years ago, and it's nice to see people discover it now.
Yeah, I know. Creepshow 3 wasn't a favorite of any of ours. What did you think of Creepshow 2, though?
I like Creepshow 2.
Me too. Not bad. I put it on par right there with the Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, right about there.
Right.
Real solid. It's really, I think Creepshow kind of sets the high benchmark for the anthology horror.
Right.
But I think part 2 and then Tales from the Dark Side come in right behind that.
Yeah, and I like the Tales from the Dark Side TV show. The series.
Mm-hmm.
I have that on DVD, so that's always fun to pull out and watch.
That's one I don't know if I've really ever seen them. I may have seen them back in the day, but I need to go get that box set because we've been talking about it a lot because we did a Tales from the Dark Side show and they talked about that a lot, and I'm like, man, that's one I have to go revisit.
Yeah, it's funny how a lot of these movies like that did TV series, especially. Look at Friday the 13th, and then they did a TV series, which has nothing to do with Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
but it's
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. But at least they had Freddy in that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Freddy was involved. That Friday the 13th. I'm not sure who was satisfied with that project.
It was canceled, so not very many people.
Yeah.
Right.
They've been floating around the idea of Friday the 13th, another series here recently, and I think it is supposed to involve Jason. I guess there's all that litigation going on with the story rights, probably holding everything up with that.
Now, I will say for movies the Halloween movies, you had Michael Myers in the first and second one. A lot of people crapped on Season of the Witch, Part 3. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie if you set it apart from the Halloween series.
Yeah. That was one I remember people hating in the early days of the internet.
Absolutely.
And now people celebrate it, and I love it because I always thought it was a good movie. I didn't care what it was called. It was just a fun movie.
Movie.
And that's, Tom Atkins. Talk about a living legend who's just been in all the classics and is a super nice guy. If you've ever gotten a chance to meet Tom, I did.
I met him in Charlotte.
Yeah, he's just one of the coolest dudes out there, and he plays some of the best roles. Halloween 3, I love seeing that get the love that I think it deserves now.
Yeah, and the merchandise, NECA came out with the 3-pack set figures.
Mm-hmm.
You can't find them. They're selling for crazy money on eBay. Trick or Treat Studios just came out with all the masks, which are fantastic. So, it's definitely had a resurgence of popularity.
What do you? What's your take on Friday 5?
Nah.
No. No resurgence on that one for you.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's Eric's contractually obligated question. It's his.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I've warmed up to it.
Me too. I did
it's
too.
still my least favorite of the series.
Right.
Of the series?
Yes.
Oh wow,
dude! Jason X and Part 7 are like my 1 and 2, and I'll die on that hill. I love both those movies.
Well, I like them too, but
I like it. I like them more than Part 5, but Part 5's become good because it's a good meme factory for horror fans. But it grew on me. It was the last movie I saw before everything shut down. I saw a 35 millimeter print of it.
Okay.
And it was the first time I got to sit and really pay attention to it. And I was like, I like this a lot more than I remember.
Wow. Well, good.
Eric and another friend of ours, Bob, have been celebrating it a lot the last couple of years, and they're part of the reason why I had that turnaround on it later.
Maybe I need to go back and rewatch it. Maybe I've just forgotten how good it is.
Well, it's just got loads of great characters that are on screen for 10 seconds and then die, but they're awesome while they last.
With so many of them though, characters do start to blend together for me, and I get confused on each one. So maybe that's why I need to go back and watch. I have the brand new box set, so
there you go.
Yeah, it's a good way to rediscover it.
It is.
Yeah. Did you see Friday the 13th in 3D in theaters back in the day? Was that something you?
I did.
You did?
I did, yeah.
Nice.
It was terrible for 3D.
Was it?
And still now they have it with the same type of glasses to watch it on. It's like, come on. There has to be a way to convert it to real 3D to make it look good.
Yeah, we were just talking about that before we got on. Eric was a proponent of going out and getting a 3D projector and all that stuff. And I was like, man, I like it. I was never a big fan of 3D movies. I've seen a couple of movies in 3D. It doesn't do anything for me. But I
Gives you a headache.
Does it? Yeah, I've never. I don't think I ever saw a movie in the theater back with the red and blue glasses back in the day. I missed out on that, and maybe that could be why. But I know a lot of people loved doing that back in the day.
Yeah, in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of 3D movies that came out, especially all your Marvel movies. Everyone on 3D. But it's a little bit better 3D than what we had back in the 80s. So
yeah, I've accidentally bought tickets to the 3D version, and then I get there and I'm like, oh, it's in 3D.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, it seems like they were trying to phase out 3D, but now it's just kind of sticking around for some reason. I think it's just a way to charge an extra $5 for a ticket, maybe.
It is, but it's got to cost so much more to do that. I don't know.
So we kind of hinted on it earlier. What new horror has gotten you excited?
The new movie Freaky, I want to see. I've heard people talk about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know of any real horror that's coming out. I read Rube Moore magazine and Fangoria and Horror Hound, but it's like there's nothing that really grabs me about what's coming out right now. Maybe I'm just missing something.
What do you think of all the the new Halloweens? Like they're going back and revisiting. Do you get excited about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, if Jamie Lee Curtis is involved, I'm excited about it. And I have nothing against Rob Zombie's interpretation of it either. They were good for what they were. In fact, I like his movies, the ultra violence and the way that he films. I think it's very, very entertaining. Like I say, good movie, entertaining movie, two different things. And I think they're entertaining movies.
Yeah. That's what I tell a lot of people. I was like, I don't think it's a very good movie, but I love the hell out of that 90 minutes that I sat in front of the TV and watched it.
Exactly.
And it's okay to like bad movies. It's okay to, not like good movies. Hey, if I was entertained for 90 minutes, it was worth the price of admission. I don't think I've really seen a movie that I felt like I wanted to ever walk out of the theater on or turn it off halfway through. I don't think I've ever had that reaction. I try to find something good about every movie I watch.
Right. When I hear about people getting up and leaving the movie theater, I don't get that. I don't get it. I don't understand that. Like, number one, you paid money to be there, and I want to see if there's going to be a payoff.
Yeah,
a lot of times they'll be bad and have a decent payoff.
Yeah, I like a slow burn movie. I don't mind a movie that it's chugging along slowly and then it starts to ramp up because then I'm engaged and I'm rushing towards the payoff. Like it's not going to let go. But I like movies that'll grab me out of the gate with the opening credits. I'm not super picky. I know a lot of people can be that way, but I'm like, look, if it looks good and it's good, I don't care what Rotten Tomatoes says.
Right. I mean, there's been movies, Rotten Tomatoes, that will have 95% fresh tomatoes, and you want to walk out.
Yeah.
Excuse me for the interruption or something, whatever that movie was with the horses and stuff. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I haven't seen that.
But my girlfriend and I went, and it was 95%, and we're sitting there going, what in the world is this movie about? I can't tell you what it was about. But you never know. Critics and what fans like are usually two different things anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll listen to my friends before I listen to a critic. And
absolutely,
sometimes I'll be in the store and I'll take a picture of the movie and I'll post it and I'm like, what do you guys think? And I'll give it like 5 minutes to see if anyone's like thumbs up, thumbs down, or it's, piece of crap or whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, enough of my friends like it and I like my friends, so this has to be decent.
Right.
So I'll take their word for it because we tend to have similar, even if we've very differently on most of our movies if they're like, no, this is good, and most of the people are fine. You know.
But if I were your friend and I had to sit through it, I'm probably going to tell you it's good, just so you have to sit through it too.
I don't think I've ever had a friend say that to me yet. It's like if I had to suffer through it,
I'm honest. I'm an honest guy.
Sometimes that might intrigue me more because now I'm like, oh, well, what elicited that reaction? Because I'm like, now I'm engaged. Now I want to know what it is. And you know, there's a couple of those that I've kind of been like, I don't quite get why people love this movie, but it was okay.
Yeah.
But you know, nothing that I had to suffer through.
What's coming out that you guys are interested in? Because my brain's fried. I can't think of anything that's coming out. What are you guys excited about?
Well, you mentioned the Halloween series, and Halloween Kills is pushed back to next year. It's Scream. That's right.
Boy, that's
But what new movie though? Not a Halloween movie, not a Scream movie. What new movie? A new concept is coming out that maybe we can be excited about.
You know what? I think someone asked us this a couple weeks ago, or I was talking to someone. I said, with movie theater shutting, I haven't paid much attention because I'm not getting a movie for like the next year that I really want to see. I'm getting more excited for movies finally getting like Blu-ray releases, like Beastmasters coming out in like a huge Vinegar Syndrome set. The first Tremors movies getting a huge box set from Arrow.
I saw that, yeah.
So like stuff like that's what I get excited for because it's like it's the only thing that I think I have to look forward to because who knows, you know, we have to wait 2 years for the next Matrix movie. I'm a Matrix fan, so I'm going to go see Matrix 4.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Wonder Woman, stuff like that. It's like I'm excited for the Snyder Cut of Justice League, like stuff like that. Like this, that's the kind of stuff I've been looking forward to because that's really all we're getting. And I don't have much that I can remember that's coming out.
But Wonder Woman, it's now going to be December, right? It got pushed to December.
Last I heard, and then I started seeing it pop up on some of the news sites that I think they're still deciding if it's going to stream in December exclusively or theater. So I'm not sure, but at the rate we're going, I don't think a theater release is going to happen. So I mean, I'll stream it. That's fine. I'm a comic book fan, so I'm stoked for that.
Is there a new Blade movie coming out?
I heard there was a project that was. I don't think Wesley is involved, is he?
No, probably not.
I think it's a new cast, but I do recall that some movement on that project, but I haven't heard anything in a while.
Yeah, I have to look and see what's on A24 and Blumhouse's list. Is it to me when I was asking about new horror, like they seem to be the
leader.
Yeah, they're the new benchmark, like Midsommar and Hereditary, like that kind of stuff I've liked.
Yeah.
But I haven't. I can't remember anything. It just seems like the beginning of 2020 with A Quiet Place 2. There's one.
Okay.
I was a big fan of A Quiet Place, and I was excited for A Quiet Place 2, and that was supposed to be 2 weeks after we shut down, and now that's supposed to be next March. So let's hope, because I just rewatched the first one last week. So that probably is high on my list.
Wow.
Yeah, I look forward to getting back to the theater and all the movies. It's going to be an expensive time when all the movies come back out. And we're at the theaters every week seeing 2-3 movies. They're all coming out at the same time, but I'll be excited to be back.
Yeah. Do you guys have one of the like the AMC A-lister or the Regal's Pass or anything like that?
I don't have any AMCs close to me. I have a Regal. I have a couple Regals, and then my town has a really nice theater that they don't have anything like that, minus like the $4 bucket of popcorn that you can buy, which is fantastic. Little things like that will excite me. I'm like $4 bucket of popcorn that I can take home with the kids. But
usually those monthly passes are pretty good if you go to a lot of movies. There was a company called Movie Pass that was around for a short while, and seriously, I probably saw 100 movies in a year. You know, it's like $10 a month or something. And I mean, they're out of business now because of it, but it was good while it lasted.
Yeah, I mean, something like that for the local theater that I have in town, I would probably buck up for because it takes me 2 minutes to get there, and I have no problem going to the movies on a Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Like that to me, that's nothing. And I do a lot of the Thursday night late screenings if I can, or even the midnight shows. I have no problem doing that. So I'll go to the movies whenever. But I've just been selective over the last couple of years just because, it's like, I'll wait for it on DVD. If I'm going to spend $10 to go see it, I'll spend $15 for it on the Blu-ray and get the special features.
Yeah.
That'll be worth the extra price for me.
Yeah. Midnight movies here, they start at 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? It's like they're not midnight movies anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to remember going, up until the last 4 or 5 years, midnight movie, you get back at 2:30 and you have to wake up for work by 7.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you look tired today. I went to the movies at midnight.
I saw a Kentucky Fried Movie, and
yeah. I live close to the Colonial in Phoenixville where they filmed The Blob.
Oh wow!
And they do a lot of 35 millimeter like First Friday horror movies. So I'll go down on like a Friday night and they won't start the movie till like 9:30, and it's like an hour and a half drive. And I'm like, sometimes it's worth it to see something on 35.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. They do Blob Fest where you can recreate running out of the theater. It's a whole street fair. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they usually do that in the summer.
Yeah, I wish we'd do something like that here in Charlotte. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it's neat. It's interesting to see places like that, 2020 drive-in to become a thing again. Mm-hmm. And they found interesting ways to do movie screenings and movie events. So it hasn't been a completely dry year for, depending on where you're at.
Right.
The Mahoning Drive-In, which is up by me, they had Bruce Campbell in August.
Wow.
They had Tom Savini was just there over Halloween doing a meet and greet stuff and, stuff like that. It's nice to have something that we can look forward to.
Of course. And eventually we'll get somewhere back to normal and, who knows when, but
yeah,
it will happen. We just have to have patience.
Yes. Yep.
There have been diseases and viruses forever.
Yep.
And
we made it through.
We'll get through this.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. It's patience.
Are there any more questions from the people listening?
Oh, they've been coming in.
Let's see. Yeah, I think we've gone through them all here. Possessor is one of Will's recommendations. That was the whose son was that? That was
David Cronenberg.
Cronenberg's son. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I'm excited that Sam Raimi is doing Doctor Strange too.
That's
interesting.
Right?
That's another Sam Raimi horror comic book mashup. Like, I'm excited for something like that. It's just, it seems like 2 years from now is such a long time away to get some of these out again.
Yeah, I know you're a comic book guy. Do you watch The Boys on Amazon?
Yes, I have to finish season 2.
Yeah. I'm about halfway through myself. So, but it's good. It's very entertaining.
Do you read comics? Are you a comic guy?
I read some. I'm not. There's too many other things to take up my time.
Yeah.
So, I just like to. When I read seriously Fangoria, Horror Hound, Rue Morgue, and then I read biographies on like rock and roll stars and stuff like that. And actors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much time in a day.
True.
Yep. And I push the limit on how much time what I can fit in every day. Like, whenever we get done tonight, this box set's going up in the player, and I'm going to start on the special features till midnight, 1 a.m. or whatever, because it'll make me feel accomplished that I started something on that set tonight. Yeah.
Did you get the Dawn of the Dead, the LP set with the green bag and?
No, from Rust Blades.
Yeah.
No, I got the CD. A friend of mine works at FYE, and they had that with the comic book. He got me that pack. Right. But I've been wanting to get that just as part of the collection. Yeah. What did you get it?
I did. Yeah.
Did you get the Waxworks, Dawn? I'm assuming.
I did.
Yeah. Eric, are they still supposed to be putting out library music? Were they supposed to do another print? I want to, and I could be way off base.
I'm not aware of a library music.
I could have sworn they were doing library music or something, and I could be wrong. And I apologize to people that are probably going to comment and be like, "No, they didn't say that." It sticks in my head for some reason. Maybe it's just wishful thinking that Waxworks puts out the DeWolf stuff on new vinyl.
It needs to happen sooner or later, but I don't believe. I think it's just the same the Goblin.
Maybe it was that recent reprint that got me thinking about it. And that's the problem, is there's so much horror collectible stuff out now where 20 years ago it was such a dry spell. Like we were hoping for figures and new editions, and now we have it all, and we don't have enough money or shelf space.
That's the big both of those are problems. Yes. So much stuff.
Guess it's a good problem to have. You can always go back to it. At least it exists.
Yeah. I have a buddy I work with, and he buys every single figure that comes out. I mean, everything. It's sort of like those guys that do the pop vinyl figures. Even if they don't like it, they buy a figure. You know?
Yeah, I've had to become selective. I'm pushing like 300 pop figures, so
wow.
I've had to become selective. I don't get as many as I used to. I don't get like the whole set of a movie, but yeah, that was a bad disease for a while. I'd come back every weekend with like 5 or 6, and I've had to slow up.
Yeah.
Those are your Beanie Babies.
Yeah, yeah. The only ones I'm really looking forward to are the Baby Yoda ones.
So the Mandalorian you enjoy, huh?
Yeah.
Good show, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely look forward to when that comes out, because it's fun to watch because it's Star Wars, but it doesn't have to rely on the mythology. And I think it's just a great story. I like that it's almost self-contained. You don't have to be a Star Wars fan to like it.
To enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just fun to see how, like Bryce Dallas Howard just did her episode and had a whole callback to Apollo 13. Like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I just watched Apollo 13. I'm like, this is so she's got a whole scene that's just a big homage to her dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, learned something new today.
Yeah.
It's a good day when you can learn something.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's fun to go back. I wait a day, and you go like, here's a list of all the Easter eggs that they put in there, and that's the fun part, is seeing what I can pick out and try to find. So it's almost it's like an adventure watching some of these shows now, because everyone's putting Easter eggs in for the old school fans to do the callback.
Right.
So yeah, I enjoy it.
Well, good.
Yeah. Someone asked Charles, did you ever have an action figure?
No.
They
wouldn't sell. They wouldn't sell, so I didn't have one.
I'd buy one. I'd buy one.
I bet it would sell. I bet it would.
Yeah, it's amazing how we don't have referee action figures, though, unless it's just some generic guy.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have one. It'd be something that'd be fun to have.
Heck yeah.
We'll have to Google Charles Robinson action figure. I'm sure someone made one.
Made a custom, right? Custom one. They probably used a Ric Flair doll to do it with.
That's not a bad idea.
The quality is, how good is the hair?
That's
how does the hair look?
Best hair in the business.
That's right.
That's right. It's funny. It is so funny. 6-7 years ago, they had the Slammy Award laying around, so I picked it up and took a picture and said I won Slammy for best hair, and the number of people that believed it. So the next year, Summer Rae and Dolph Ziggler and we were fighting over who won the Slammy for the best hair. But it's amazing. There's no Slammy for best hair.
Mm-hmm.
There should be.
There should be.
There's some good hair in the business, and then there's yours, which is the benchmark.
Mine.
Yes. They haven't done the Slammies for 20 years.
It's been a couple years, 3 years, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's been up till recently.
We'll start an online campaign to get you a Slammy.
I know. I need one, right?
You need something. You need an action figure or a Slammy. There's got to be. We need one or both.
Both.
And then the Hall of Fame when I retire, right?
Yeah. First ballot. You got to.
Yeah, whatever.
Got to.
Oh gosh.
No, love it. It's just been it's been super cool sitting here and talking to you, because I mean you love horror. You're in an awesome business. Just looking in the background at your collection, it's like, man, that's some awesome stuff.
Let's see here. We'll get up here. Let me move around a little bit.
Okay.
This is the I don't now turn around the camera, so this is the bust, the airport zombie. This thing down here is really good. Can you see that?
Yep.
That's a custom fluffy somebody made for me.
Nice.
And a Night of the Living Dead model.
Nice. Bill Hines, man.
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah.
Bub.
Yeah. And then I'll show you let you see the bust that Jason Baker made for me. You got to move my famous Monsters of Family guitar out of the way. Look at that.
Oh, that's sweet.
I don't know how to play it. But here's the bust.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and it's signed by George.
Oh, nice.
Here on that side, and by Tom Savini on that side.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so these are all my friends.
I have a Land of the Dead jumpsuit from Big Daddy, and I have it on a mannequin downstairs. And I've gotten with that Stigmata shirt that's going to go in a frame. But now I have an outfit from the Blair Witch 2016 movie, and I'm afraid I'm going to start having mannequins in my house. The wardrobes and stuff are going to start piling up.
Here's the British squad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Then I have a big werewolf head.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
And have you guys ever seen the zombie British squad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
I like that collection right there. The zombie
that's
bust,
nice.
the Bruce.
Yeah.
Oh, you got one of those Michael Myers statues from Spirit.
I did. I got lucky. I begged the manager. I said, dude, I need one of these. People are going in and buying all of them.
Yeah.
You know?
In each store, they told me they only got like 2 or 3 of each.
Yep.
And
so,
wow. I appreciate the tour. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was quick. We'll do it again. We'll do a more extensive tour next time.
Yeah, we'll do a whole
fun.
collector's thing. I mean, that's Eric and I were like, oh, what's he gonna bring? What's he gonna show? Like, because you got some awesome stuff. And
Well, I'm very, very lucky. I've been lucky enough to have a job where I have the time to travel and to find things and to be able to get it. So I'm just a very, very blessed and lucky guy.
Yeah, no, and we're super lucky that you came onto the show and just kicked it old school horror with us and George Romero, because he's such an influence on all 3 of us, and for so many people it was like he was like a binding force that got us all together and got us into the genre. He was a big gateway especially for me.
I wish I could have worn his glasses though.
Yeah.
Jason Baker got to wear them, and he brags about it all the time.
Yeah.
And Savini says, I've never worn his glasses. And Jason Baker got to wear his glasses. So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I always wanted to wear his vest.
The best. Yeah.
Yeah, that vest was that vest. If I couldn't wear the glasses, to put the vest on and be like, that would be
really, really cool.
Yeah.
So, but I did go to the Monroeville Mall. They have the his bust and a plaque and everything for him, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, Dunbar. Did you see the Knight Riders Easter egg that's hidden on the bust?
No. So look for it, huh?
Look for it.
Okay.
Look for it next time you're there. It's
okay.
It's not easy, but it's there. You'll see it.
Yeah. And Jason may have mentioned it to me because he's all things Romero. I was just overwhelmed by everything there. Too bad everything's changed though in the mall.
Yeah. Yeah, my first trip there was in 1999, and there was still the water fountain was still there, and it didn't have the escalators, and Penny's was still there, and it was fun. I go out 4, 5, 6 times a year just to go out.
Yeah, how often do you go out to the cemetery?
Once or twice a year. It's and I'm like 3.5 hours from Pittsburgh, so you add another hour onto it. So there's a bar up there that Eric and I like to go to. They have great wings, so it's always nice to plan a trip to go and get
great wings. Okay.
No, they do. They have the best award-winning wings.
They really do. They really do.
They're really good.
Sports and Spirits in Evans City. They're just world-class wings. They're super good. And I mean, words can't describe it. You just have to go and try it yourself.
Yeah. Yep. So did you do the classic pose on the tombstone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If Eric and I have been there, we've recreated those scenes.
Everything, right?
Yeah, we got super into doing like dark half and monkey shines over the last year or so. So we've gotten into the Romero stuff that you don't always see.
Okay.
Which has been fun because it's like discovering something new. It's like everyone does Creep Show or Night of the Living Dead or Dawn.
Of course.
We've done Night 90 and Night 90 and Dark Half have a lot of locations in the same area, so you can hit a bunch of stuff in half a day.
What about Bruiser? You haven't done Bruiser yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I've been to Toronto. I've been to Toronto a few times.
Yeah.
And when I went up to George's funeral, and we spent the day in Toronto, and I got to visit a couple of the spots from Bruiser. And
okay. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to go to watch Bruiser, and then I'm going to remember that I actually saw it. I'll say, whoa, I've seen this movie.
Hey, but you gave it another watch, so that's all that counts.
I will. It's only 10 o'clock, so that's what I'll do.
You'll be watching Bruiser. I'll be watching the Dawn of the Dead box set. We'll be having Eric's got to put Season of the Witch in, or There's Always Vanilla.
Well, we'll get something going.
Yeah.
While I wait on my box set to show up.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have it in the next couple of days.
Hopefully
I don't mind it's been shipped, so
yeah,
we'll have it soon.
Waiting is that hardest part.
Yes.
I had a buddy of mine I bought it from Second Sight and shipped it to a friend in England. He shipped it over to me, and I'm surprised that it got here faster than Zavvi or any place else.
Yeah, that's what I think. I got mine through Zavvi.
Yeah, I've ordered from them before. I've never had any issues with them. I know a lot of people were really hesitant saying about the shipping, and I'm like, I think they'll do good on this. It's heavy enough. It's not. Hopefully, it doesn't come in a bag.
Mm-hmm.
I almost forgot. Let's see here. I'll take you upstairs. One thing that I really like that I have. Let's see here. We're going upstairs. There's
look at the Frankenstein. Cool.
Going on a tour of the house here real quick. Whoops, wrong light. One thing that I really like that I got I think I got it for Zavvi. Turn on this light here. Sorry, guys. Here's the Universal prints.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
This here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got one of those.
Yeah.
It's from France, right?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, the thorn.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome.
That's the original one, the $80.
It was.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome that you hung on to that.
I got lucky. Just got thrown into a box. A lot of my stuff got lost. So, All right. There we go. Let me go back downstairs.
Yeah, it's nice when you can hold on to those collectibles from back in the day and go back and just look and say, man, that got me in, or you have that great story that gets attached to that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Good. All right.
All right,
any more questions? Any more questions from anyone, or?
I think we're all wrapped up.
Yeah.
And Matt, did you have any more questions you want to ask Charles?
No, not that I can think of. I mean, we ran the gauntlet tonight. I'm sure we could have you on again just to catch up and
that'd be fun.
Go through more collectibles, and we'll bring our collectibles on and just have
that'd be fun.
A nice little show and tell.
Yeah, like I have boxes of the albums that George signed and movie posters and stuff, and I was trying to pull everything out, but I just ran out of time. So,
yeah.
No, you've shown us plenty. What we can see behind you right now is amazing. So I appreciate you giving us the tour.
Yeah. Now, the audio version of this, people will be saying, "What's going on?"
That's right.
Well, I think we threw some description in there. I think people will know what we're talking about. So, yeah. So no, yeah. So I definitely am going to send you some of this wood paneling from the JCPenney's elevator. That needs to have a place in your collection.
Thank you.
So you'll have that coming your way here soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And guys, thanks for having me on your show. It's
been
an honor.
No, it's been all of ours. Seriously, this has been amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Charles. And we'll be in touch. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
All right.
You too.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too, Charles.
All right.
Take care.
Bye. All right. That was super fun.
Man,
I wasn't expecting that tour at the end. That was great.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. every time I'd watch him, I'm looking in the background, just seeing all the stuff that you could see in the, all the stuff in the IKEA shelves that he had sitting over there, the busts and stuff. I mean, that's some nice stuff to have. And, like he loves horror, and that's super awesome.
Before we get out of here, we want to remind everybody to check out our Patreon at the link here provided below. If you're listening audio only, it's www.patreon.com/thegarfofficial, where we're uploading all sorts of stuff. Actually, we just uploaded an interview with Tina Romero. It's about 30 minutes long, where she talks about Bruiser. So we're trying to get stuff on there all the time. So get over there, have a look, become a subscriber, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, and every subscriber, it goes right to help the GARF continue to keep the lights on and provide new and exciting things in the future with everything related to George. So please, give what you can, be a subscriber.
And also check out the website, GeorgeRomeroFoundation.org, if you want to just make a one-time donation or volunteer, or just check out what we've got going on. There's the link in the banner below. So please check that out. And thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We've got a couple things lined up for December. I don't think we're quite ready to roll that out, are we? I don't think so.
Not yet. We're getting it all together, but we have probably 2 good shows in December that we think you guys are really, really going to love, and it'll get you through the winter months leading up to Christmas. I'm excited for those 2 that we have. Can't talk about them just yet.
They'll be big, and if it's things are going like they normally do, I'm sure something else will pop up between now and then. So we shall see. But we've at least got those 2 on the docket, right?
Yeah, and don't forget, when you go to the GeorgeRomeroFoundation.org website, sign up for the newsletter. Next newsletter is going to come out January 1st. So New Year's Day, you're going to get a newsletter with probably at least a first quarter show schedule. We're going to have a bunch of stuff already planned out for 2021. So you're going to see a lot of interesting stuff coming your way. We're
perhaps even some new programming coming down the pipe. I don't think we can even talk about that yet.
So there's the GARF Network's taken off. We have a lot of stuff in the pipeline that we're just finishing up the fine tuning of when and where and what, and we think you guys are really going to enjoy some of the stuff that we got coming for you.
Agreed. Well, I'm sorry we can't be more conclusive about what's coming up, but it's coming up, we promise.
No, we got to give them something to look forward to, right? Like they're looking forward to it. So we're gonna give you guys more content. So hang tight with us.
Well, until next time, I am Eric,
and I'm Matt,
and we'll see you next time on the GARF Network.